Okay, we will call this meeting to order for November 21st, the Agenda and Priorities meeting, and we will begin with the land acknowledgement. The Town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy. Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, Tsuut'ina First Nation, and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3 within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived and cared for these lands for generations. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on. So we will move into 2.1. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Can I please have somebody make a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mayor Barclay.
Thank you, Councillor Maceras. All in favor? Thank you. And we will move into 3.1. So I'd like to welcome Tara Downs and Pauline Wake to come up and do a presentation on our library. Welcome. Glad to have you here, and welcome to everybody in the gallery today.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. First, thanks for having us today. I'd like to take a moment to introduce some members of our board. This is our freshly minted board chair, Pauline Wig. We have Tanya Morrison, vice chair. We have Diane McKay, our treasurer, and Gail Vandervliet, one of our long-term board members. I hope that was loud enough without the mic. So I just want to take a minute. This actually is one of my favorite quotes about libraries. And I always used to think that hospitals of the soul was a bit of a stretch. But I have to tell you a story about a woman who came in. When people are on the floor, I often ask them, hey, is there anything I can do for you? And as she turned to me, there were tears in her eyes. And she said to me that she had just experienced a very recent loss, and that the library was one of the only places that she could come to have the peace and clearance of mind to deal with this. That has moved me beyond anything I can speak of working there, and I really think it speaks to the heart and soul of the library being middle of the community, the heart of the community. One of the things we do at the library is to build relationships. Where am I doing this? There? Where? Where? There? Still not working. Is that me? Oh, I think wrong one. Okay. Should I just do this? Are you going for it? Okay. Thank you. Perfect. So just flag you in. Thank you. Okay, so I really feel like building those relationships is really in line with what the town of Innisfail belief system is. I know in their strategic plan, one of their quotes is, Innisfail is a place where relationships matter. And for me at the library, that's one of our primary things. Basically maintaining and building those relationships is where our statistics come from. You can see relationships really do matter in the book club. I really like this photo because it speaks to both the resources that we provide to people as well as that program and social component. So we're doing, oh, go ahead. That's okay. So now you threw me. Yeah, okay, so we do this with a fairly big team. Yeah, go. First and foremost is our patrons, though. They are number one. The library would not exist without them. We have what I call innies and outies, our internal staff, and our library volunteers. Those are the people that you see on the floor when you go and visit us. Externally, we have a fairly large board of volunteers and Friends of the Innisfail Public Library. These are kind of the less visible people of the library. I'd like to make a special note for Friends of the Innisfail Public Library. They are now running a Innisfail Public Library Christmas basket raffle, December 3rd, co-op. Go get your tickets. Patrons basically are the ones that show us what they want and what they need. Basically, with the help of the town, we were able to, through the MOST grant, give free library cards from mid of 2021 to 2022, and that small transactional barrier being removed made a big difference. I've got 2019 stats up there for, I don't know, I'd like to say obvious reasons. I think it was really hard to compare to 2020 and 21, so I did go back to that year. Between 2019 and 2022, they did drop off quite a bit. It was quite challenging to maintain people there. Our traffic is basically based on estimates of various weeks. So we're getting back up to that 500 range, which is kind of where I think it should be. So this can't actually happen without our internal and external supports. Yes, next, I'll say next. For me, the importance of knowing who is valuable. When you know who in your community is contributing to make these things function, I think it's really important. So I'll just give you a moment to take a look. I do know in terms of volunteers, we have more than 6. Many of them are just casual volunteers who will help me with festivals. Over the course of COVID, we didn't have any of them in, so that was a little taxing in terms of staff and getting things done. And obviously, we didn't have a ton of events either in person. We have a small but mighty staff team. Thank you. First off is Benita Dalton. I call her the Huntress. She's the one who is finding the books. I gotta say we all enjoy the challenge. Michelle Harder, she's my project queen and kind of will take on anything. She's stepped up to run our 3D printer, which is no easy task because the troubleshooting when it doesn't print happens often. Jenny Simon is our social media guru. She does an amazing job on social media, just fun and quirky, and does our displays in library for to improve circulation, and she does a stunning job of Bookface Friday. That's her in the book Shoulder Season, the photograph beside her picture. We didn't know it was about a Playboy bunny when we actually first picked the book. Little collar could have given it away, but it didn't. We go by cover, that's it. Miss Sherry, who has been there since well before my kids were in her programs. She's kind of an icon in the community and really great at making something out of nothing for children's crafts. Miss Ella, she's our newest face. She just loves the library and doing the programs and the youth. She's very engaged in community. I couldn't have asked for a better fit personality-wise. And then there's little old me wearing many hats, or all the other hats that no one else wears, I guess. I always say they hide me in the back. So all of us contribute to that vision and our mission, except I think yeah, well, we all build, no, go back, I'm lost. You're laughing at me yet? Yeah, so yeah, in terms of contributing, you know, we have our relationships, things that stand out to me here, because these are personal little things that kind of paint the bigger picture for you. Engaging with schools in and around the community. It wasn't really the school, but it was the Innisfail Early Learning Center who brought me there as a community helper, being the librarian. and I got to engage with the children there. So that was a big highlight for me just a couple of months ago, especially not having been out and about in the community and in the schools as much over the past few years. Community events, we try and participate in as many as we can. The last one was the Christmas tree lighting, where we produced 100 kits to pass out to participants there and promote the library. And my favorite part is promoting our town. When new patrons come in, making them feel welcome, making them feel it's an inclusive library. We have a lot of city escapers that come to us, telling me horror stories about the city, and I tell them how great it is here. I've had a couple from India come in, and a few immigrants from the Ukraine recently. In terms of physical resources, computer assistance is a big one for us. It's kind of where I get the most pride in helping people, because a lot of people aren't able to do those things. Community spaces are really important for us. We had the Innisfail Art Club drop by due to the Coffee Cottage being closed, so I was pretty happy to see them, that they thought of us when they didn't have that access this weekend. So it was really great to talk to them and talk to them about our future plan of service and, you know, how we can partner and collaborate. And so we all contribute to our vision and mission. In here, Joy of Reading really stands out for me. We have a program called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. To me, reading is a precursor to success in academics and school. So the kids come in and get their little sticker books and bring them in every 100 books. They read along with their parents. And creativity and innovation, we do a lot of different arts programs that kind of inspire that. I really like to think of creativity as everyone being creative, and you guys on council basically are. What we deal with is kind of a concrete creativity and innovation, and I really believe those critical thinking skills translate into things that, you know, eventually later in life that you are able to do because of that. What number am I on? So this may be changing our vision and mission, and the reason for that is that our plan of service is coming to an end. Our central priority in the past few years was to make the Innisfail Public Library a central community hub. That was challenging. But I think we rose to that challenge. There were 3 categories within that I just kind of want to touch on. The first being partners. We try to partner with a lot of people within the community. I could talk for ages on these events and these partnerships, but the only one I want to focus on right now is the Family Literacy Festival. I think literacy is a core service of ours, and this is something that in 2020 was our last one. So that poster's from a couple of years ago. And we've decided at the last board meeting to go ahead with it. So on January 28th, if you want to all come on down and have some fun, we're hoping to get an entertainer in there. It is geared for younger kids, but still kind of fun. And then our category number 2, we have a beautiful library, as everyone knows. I never get tired of seeing new people come into it and their jaws dropping. It's a beautiful facility. And we work hard to make it work for us. I've expanded, converted, transformed spaces, utilized community spaces, and recently we're creating an outdoor space, and we've just got some money to kind of spruce it up a bit. So we really try and flex what the library has to serve the community. And our third was programs and events. That really wouldn't be possible without that flexing of, you know, our space muscles. I could spend a lot of time going over these fun events that we had. The one I want to focus on is the scarecrows in the corner. So this is what I mean about serving the needs of the community. At the Lantern Festival, I ran into a woman who said she was excited about the Lantern Festival. It was so awesome. And I started to talk about the Harvest Festival coming up and that they were making scarecrows for it. And she's like, I'd love to do that, but I don't know how to make a scarecrow. I was like, program. This was so fun for the kids. But it's those connections from Lantern Festival to Harvest Festival to community program at the library. I love that. So we've had many recent successes. I'm still learning what are successes and failures, because really there are no failures. I have a story about the Hatchachick program. I don't know if any of you've ever done this in your home. It's messy, smelly, just, yeah, fun when they're little. Anyway, so I didn't think anyone was in the library. We were kind of close to closing up, and I was like, I am never doing this again, which usually isn't like me. And someone pipes up from behind me, not staff. She's like, but the kids loved it. And I was like, I'll do it again. It doesn't matter. You do it for the community. I don't do it for me. So we remember we're serving the needs of the community, and we are coming up into a new plan of service. We have to. It's required. It's necessary. It triggers our operating grant from the province, and it ensures that we do engage the community, that there is a plan in place to really think about what we're doing and what the needs are of the community, needs and wants, I guess. We are super excited. I cannot think of a better time for this to be happening. It's a fresh start. I don't want to look back. I want to look forward. Things have changed in micro ways that we're not even aware of, in my opinion. Families, individuals, community. We've got a lot of guidance with that through Public Library Services Branch and Parkland Regional Library Services. So we're not on our own doing it. And like Pauline said to me, this will be a journey and one we're pretty excited about. So on that note, I'm just going to pass the mic over to her.
Thank you. I don't know if I need a mic.
Yeah,
but
I do.
So thank you. This kind of just recaps what Tara's already told us, so I'll try to be brief and maybe a little different. So we're going to deal with people, product, and place. So I want you to just draw a little circle, either in your mind, with your hands. You've got a circle, and in that circle, we're putting some people, our core group, the people that make things run, and of course, our employees are at the heart of that. So we recognize, me being a service industry people, I worked in hotels, know that without your front line and your core people that are up and into their job and happy, we got to take care of them, and they'll take care of the patrons. Also in that circle, we have the board, of course, and we have the volunteers and the friends, and you guys, because your support financially, but also by directing a clear vision of what the town is about, helps us to get that vision going also. So we're just going to stay in our lane right behind you. And so that's our inner circle. From there we go to the next place, outside that circle, and that takes in our members. And the people that are already comfortable with our library, they come, they're using us, they have library cards. So what kind of products can we offer them, or expand our products, or make sure that we're meeting their needs and they're happy, particularly as they're growing. Some of us are aging, some of us are just getting into school, you know, so we just want to make sure the products are meeting their needs in that circle. And then we go to the bigger circle, and that's our community and district. And in that circle, there's people that are curious about the library, but they're not using us. And that's kind of the people we want to target. We want to see if we can get them in the door, using our product, find out what needs they have, what the barriers are that they're not using us. Do they think it's time? Do they think it's place? You know, if we can get them inside the door and we can drive this plan of service from that outside circle in, we can take care of them and get new library members. When we talk about place, we think about this beautiful building that we have and how lovely that looks. But we're going to embark on a 5-year plan. So place is also out there, the internet. If we're not doing the social media and extending that technology and capturing that market also, Yeah, we're bigger than the building. We have to be bigger in the building going ahead. And yeah, there's a lot to do. It's an exciting time. It's all changing. The reason I wanted to do this by building circles is it's very fluid, right? It's always changing. We just can't even, we've got to be prepared for change, but we've got to embrace it and look at it as not something that's bad, as something that's a challenge. Next slide.
So even though, can you hear me without it? No.
Thank
you.
There may be someone online, Tara, as well, so that,
Okay.
oh yeah, and Councillor Hystad is online too, so, and there may be others, so the only
Okay.
way they can hear you
Yeah,
is
no
through the
worries.
mic.
So areas that we just thought we would look at are early literacy. I think it's a key core to the library. Community newcomers, I really believe we need to do more outreach to them. Partnerships, what do those look like? Advocacy, how do we get out there more to promote the library? It's been a bit restricted over the past few years. Programming, just making sure that we are serving the various age demographics or not serving them if they're already served in the community. Community events, there's a lot going on in this town. You know, we want to make sure that we're not duplicating those types of services when others are doing it better, kind of stay in our lane. And technology assistance, I think, is really important for those people coming in that, you know, don't have those skill sets but still need to produce documents. Those are things, just little things that we've kind of brought up, but obviously this will be driven by the community through this process. So I hope I've convinced you it's not just all about the books, but we still do books. I had these kids take those books out of their giant suitcase, or giant for them, for my picture. I was like, I saw them leaving with a suitcase. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, that is early literacy in a nutshell, or in a suitcase. We appreciate your time and interest. We are going to do questions and comments if you give us just one more minute for some shameless self-promotion. So if you like and follow us on the at Innisfail Public Library, I know some of you guys already do. I would follow us just for Bookface Friday. It's hilarious. That's it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for, again, another wonderful presentation. As you know, it's kind of one of my faves. So anybody have any questions? Councillor Maceras?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I had a question about having to qualify for your operating grant. Do you have to do that every year, or is that something new?
No, it's every year. So the plan of service is in place. It's a document that has to be into the Alberta government. We don't have to resubmit it every year. The other things that we have to submit are an annual report of all our statistics. We have to submit the this year's budget and the previous year's financials.
I see.
And then the application form.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
And Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Thank you all very much for coming in and for the presentation. I've had the opportunity to work with the library on some events and that, and I cannot tell you how much it means to have that collaborative spirit. When I was a kid, libraries to me were a place where you went and checked out books, Dewey Decimal System, got read by a librarian once in a while, and then, you know, post-secondary education, before the internet, it was research. I didn't understand what a library could be until I moved to Innisfail and I saw what you all did. So thank you for that. There's a few things that you said that just really stuck with me, is that the library is more than just books and that you're bigger than the building. And I think those are, for me, two key things that really speak to what the Innisfail Public Library is about. And I know that we've had discussions before, is that I think people still don't understand exactly what you do. There are so many programs available, and we hear in this town, oh, there's nothing to do. And yet I shake my head and go, there are a million things to do in this town. You just have to pay attention and to reach out. So is there anything that we can do to further getting that messaging out there beyond what we already do.
Well, Councillor Wing did bring to our attention at the board meeting that the app, which I've now downloaded, is going to kind of bring those things together more for those not-for-profits. And so I'm just looking at things on there. I know someone has auto-populated it, so we're going to start keeping an eye on it and doing those submissions more regularly. At one point, I had submitted things, but I was never sure if I could do just programs or if it was just the events. But it looks like now that you're doing programs and events. I don't know who I should talk to about that after.
I'm sure administration can help you with that. And
Okay.
once again, thank you so much.
Perfect.
Councillor Heistad?
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. I guess my question is, how's that relationship with all the schools in the community, and how can we help bring any kind of relationship forward or improve on anything that we're doing as a council? I see that the direct linkage to the schools is so important because just because of what they do and the great things that you're doing at the library. And I'd agree with you. I'd agree with Dale and so many great things going on, but it's a great space. So how about the relationship with the schools? Thanks, Tara.
No problem. So for me, when I took over this job, the schools were a prime importance to me in connecting with them. That was in 2019. So we were doing tours. Lindsay, our old assistant manager, we got into the schools. We were doing presentations. And obviously that stopped. We actually did try to continue via Zoom, doing some. I would say they were as successful as any Zoom. It's really hard to engage a classroom. You know, you're one person speaking to them. So this year for summer reading program, our youth student did get into the schools that he was allowed back in. So he did some presentations for the summer reading. It is something I would like to focus on to figure out how to work together better. They seem to be kind of a separate entity, and I really feel like we could merge more, especially in the younger ages. Specifically, we have brought a lot of the elementary classes in for tours. I'm not sure if it was 2020 last year. Was there a space in there where they were allowed out of the school? I think there was. So there were last year, like in June, we had about half a dozen class tours in grades like 1 to 3. So we want to continue doing things like that. And of course, our plan of service will kind of help us funnel into what we should be doing with them.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley, and through to the delegation. I echo the comments. Thank you very much for presenting today. I have a comment rather than a question. I was approached this morning by a constituent, and he's building, or about half completed, what he's calling Lego Town. And it's all built out of Legos. And when he's finished, it's going to be, he said, 8 feet by 16 feet with a railroad monoline from the airport. Like he showed me some pictures of what he's done so far. And what he was looking for was for space to be able to store this and display it at no cost to anybody. He just wants to get it out. So my comment is I'll certainly connect with you after the meeting or sometime in the next couple of days, and I'll pass along the individual's name. He's from town here, and he's pretty excited about it. So I'll pass that along to you.
I'm pretty excited about it. Big Lego
that's pretty
fan.
sweet.
We run a Lego club, so it'd be really fascinating. I don't know if he'd be interested in coming and maybe talking to the kids at Lego Club or something. That's a pretty big thing, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm certain he would be. He's been building Legos from the age of 5, he said, and he's got all the kits in the boxes. Like, he's really into Lego. So, but yeah, we'll connect after or very shortly. Thank you.
Councillor Wing?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I had a personal experience with Lego on the weekend, and they still hurt, just like they always did. So I just wanted to thank you, actually, for a really great first year, for a brand-new counselor to sit on a great community board. I've really enjoyed the library board. I enjoy all of the people involved. I think our board meetings are are spectacular, actually. So thank you to this very committed group of staff and volunteers. Welcome to Pauline. Welcome to taking on this great opportunity and challenge. Yeah, it's all good. And I just want to repeat what I have been saying for the last year is the work that the library in Innisfil has done through a very difficult time in our community and our world's history just never ceased to amaze me. So thank you for all the things that you do. Thank you.
Councillor Bates.
Well, it's impossible to come up with a whole lot original after hearing all that, but no, I'd just like to acknowledge the relationship between the library and the LLC, and the fact that I don't know of anybody that doesn't pop their nose in there for one reason or another at some point during the year. I mean, it's the two things have worked together, and it's been amazing to watch the progress. And I'd like to see the 8x16 Lego, but that's big. Anyway, thank you.
So question I have is about the free library cards. Is that only for Innisfil residents, or does that extend beyond our borders?
It doesn't extend beyond our borders, but the Innisfil Library does serve Red Deer County. So it was for the patrons of Red Deer County that use our library as their home library.
And are you reimbursed by the county for?
No, we are not.
Okay. And computer equipment. I'm always surprised, Tara, when I go in there and I always see the computers are busy. Like, does that equipment, is that old at this point in time? Or still okay, still
It's-
able to update operating systems and?
They seem to be doing okay. I don't deal with it. Parkland does.
Okay.
And they also replace the equipment as it ages out.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's what I
that's a
want to
big
know.
bonus.
Yeah, great, okay. Well, again, thank you so much to all of you for all your work and dedication, and the library is beautiful, and every time somebody comes here from out of town, in fact, our recent Energy Futures Lab workshop out there, one of the facilitators said, you know what, we need to book, well, they were talking about the community room, but the whole building, that this is such a beautiful spot to book something for, and they're always looking for space that's kind of that size. And they were so thrilled by what they saw and how beautiful it is, and we all know that it's a gem.
I actually have a bit of an extended story on that. Someone came from there and said she was going to be doing an interview with the CBC, and she needed to radio, and she needed a quiet space to do it. And I think the office was booked, the program room was going, so I set her up in the children's room, and she was thrilled. I gave her a real chair and a real table, not the kids' one. Yeah, and blown away by the building. She was extremely happy.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much again for taking the time to come and do a presentation today. We really appreciate it, as always.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Okay, we will move into 3.2 with Director Jenkins and the Napoleon Realtor RFQ.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. So just looking to receive some direction from council regarding the marketing and sale of existing town-owned lots in Napoleon Meadows. So we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The town has 17 lots remaining in Napoleon Meadows that are currently listed with RE/MAX expiring January 6th. Based on that discussion a few weeks ago, the general consensus administration took away was that we'd like to go back out to a public process. And we're just looking for support to do that through a request for quote process with our 4 local firms, being Royal LePage, Sundance, RE/MAX, and Century 21. These being the 4 organizations that were originally involved in the process back in 2018. So the RFQ would require the submission of commission, promotion, and advertising and would, yeah, go through that process. It's just a little less involved than doing a full, sorry.
Councillor Dunham would like to recluse himself from the meeting due to potential pecuniary interest.
Okay,
So we'll let the minutes be shown. Sorry about that.
sorry. Yeah, so the RFQ process is just a little less involved than a full RFP that goes up on the Alberta Purchasing Connection website. We figured we would likely want to focus on the local firms as well. Again, the properties have been listed since 2018. Prior to that, the town handled the marketing as well as the sales responsibilities. And our current commission rate is based on a 5% on the first 100,000 and 3% on anything above. So we pay about $5,000 a lot for those Napoleon Meadows lots. So just looking for council support for the issuance of that request for quote.
Okay, thanks, Director Jenkins. And anybody have any comments? Councillor Wing?
I was prepared to make the recommended motion if you would like that at this time.
There's
Oh,
just,
you're right, we're in AMP. Sorry. I don't have.
I think you're just looking for support, just support right now, correct? Or
Got a recommend.
Mayor Barkley, council can make this motion. It's a lead-up policy. The real direction will come following the administration conducting that work. So if council's okay, the terms of reference would allow you to make this directive to administration.
I see that.
Okay, so then I would move that council support the issuance of a request for quote for Realtor services from our 4 local brokers, Royal LePage, Remax, Century 21, and Sundance.
Okay, Councillor Bates?
Yeah, I certainly support that. I've had actually a couple of inquiries in the last 6 months, so thank you.
Councillor Messrs.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Director Jenkins, can you remind me how many lots the town had in 2018? Or how many we've sold? Did the town have all of these ones that show sold, or?
Yes, so the town developed the entire subdivision, so at one point we owned all of the lots. I believe they first went on the market in 2014. And since 2018, we've probably sold half a dozen, would be my guess without looking back.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we have a motion. Just ask all in favor. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. And we'll let Councillor Dunham come back in to the room. Okay, and we will move on to 3.3, transportation coach bus with Director Jenkins.
All right, so we're looking to provide council with information regarding the community coach bus. So as council is aware, the Legion has provided notice for the termination of the community coach operating agreement effective April 2023. The coach was purchased back in 2010 through local fundraising and support from community groups and organizations. The current operation of the coach has not been profitable for the Legion, and current rates are well below the private charter market. The coach is rented out to customers on a first-come, first-served basis with no restrictions on the nature of the use or the user. So it's not only rented to community groups or nonprofits, it's basically open to anyone, with the largest user typically being private for-profit charter services providing tours. The coach is not currently operating and hasn't been for, I'm going to say, about the last 2 or 3 weeks due to the recent resignation of the driver and the Legion not currently looking to fill this position. So our transportation committee met on November 10th with them reviewing the information and passing the following motions. So the first motion being that the committee recommends to council that the community coach bus be disposed of by auction. The second motion being that the committee recommends to council that the balance of the community bus reserve, proceeds from the sale of the bus, and any current year bus operating surplus be allocated to the PACE or handy van reserve is how it's referred to. So administration, through our operations department, have looked at options for the sale by auction of the bus. The next auction is December 1st. We had looked at wanting to include a reserve bid if it was put into that sale. Unfortunately, the December 1st sale is not a reserve auction, it's an unreserved auction. So if council wishes to be able to place a reserve bid on the vehicle, we would have to wait for a later sale, the next one being in February. An additional consideration on that front being that if we wait for the reserved auction in February, the bus will have to be re-safetied, which we're estimating probably $7,000 minimum will need to go into the bus to renew the safety if we wait till that portion. So just due to the timelines was why we wanted to come to this meeting to have a discussion with council and to give you a heads up. We will be coming back next week with a formal report and motion, but hopefully being able to have a bit of a discussion in a sense this week from council. Yeah, so I guess at this point, the bus is expected to sell in that $100,000 mark is what we've been told. So I'll open it up for questions or discussion.
So Director Jenkins, are there other avenues besides the auction for the bus? Like, can you let tour companies in the area know that it's going to be for sale, or is there like a...
We have to do it through public process, so we could either put
Okay.
it out for tender, like advertise it on APC and through other
Okay.
channels with accepting closed tender bids. Typically with vehicles and fleet, we have used the auction
Okay.
route.
Yeah, I'm personally not comfortable with it not having a reserve on it, but Councillor Bates?
Yeah, I would echo that. The other question I have is, I assume the Transportation Committee is satisfied that all of the stakeholders that put money into the bus would be satisfied with the proceeds going to the handy bus?
Yes, so that was discussed at Transportation Committee. So Representative Rehberger on the Transportation Committee, who was a part of the original organizing group that raised the funds for the community bus, sort of gave us an overview of the whereabouts of most of the original committee members, and indicated that he did not think that there would be issue or hard feelings from that group, and that he would pass the message on to the remaining members.
And so what's the date that we have to hit before we have to re-safety it?
I think it's about December 15th.
Oh, I just hate doing stuff in such a rush, but, and then how do we deal with the reserve if, yeah.
You're referring to the CFIP, the commercial vehicle inspection? Well, we have to get it certified, whatever that cost is, and I wouldn't think that anybody would buy that bus without a safety certificate. And I understand that there's other they're expensive issues, but they're minor. It's wheels. The tires need to be replaced and everything. So that, I don't know if you want to put a new set of tires on that bus, but those are some of the things that when it goes to auction, those people will be looking at. So, but it needs to be done. December 16th, if you don't have the CFIP done, it's parked in the yard. You can't move it.
No, I just want to know that, and I don't want to second guess the Transportation Committee, because I'm sure they worked on this. Yeah, and I did want to make sure that we wouldn't have, because one of the stakeholders that put a lot of the money into it say, whoa, we didn't agree to that, or we thought we had a community bus and now we don't. So as long as that was addressed, I'm reluctantly agreeing, I guess.
Yeah, I would think some of the stakeholders that probably donated wouldn't know that this is happening, but at the same token, buses don't last forever, right? Vehicles don't last forever, and I think replacement would be impossible. And I think it goes back, sat on the transportation meeting prior to Councillor Maceras. She's now the rep, but I think it's really the town looking at what what is our core business, and being a tour bus operator isn't. And now lost the driver. We now are having to take the service into the town anyways because the Legion wants out of it. So there's a lot of factors going into this. And I think what you're saying, Councillor Harrison, is regardless of whether we maybe sold it December 1st or wait it till February, chances are somebody's going to want that safety check done on it anyways, right? So, Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Personally, I'd rather see us wait with a non-reserved auction, $7,000 to get the safety done. If we go into a reserved auction in February, we could stand to substantially make more in that instance. And as well, I mean, I think people understand that aging equipment, it starts to cost you more money than it's worth. And anyone in the community would also understand that if it's not serving mostly what it was initially supposed to do, sports clubs, things like that, and it's become a tour bus, then the money would be better directed somewhere else. So I personally support waiting until February when we have an opportunity to put in a reserved auction.
Councillor Hystad.
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Dunham. Is we're better off waiting it out. I'm okay with us no longer being in this this venture as a community. Times have moved on. It's not 1982, and I do believe that the Pace bus is a priority for our seniors in our community, and in allowing accessibility for individuals within our own community or outside a community. So that's where I stand. Thanks.
So I guess this is, Gavin, the question I would have then is if we do that, so we would go ahead and do the safety and then market it as a safetied bus, which would remove that doubt. And you take a bit of a gamble whether or not you get that money back, but probably don't lose it all, for sure. Just asking the rhetorical question if that's where we're going.
What year is it 12 years old, the bus, 10 or 12?
I think it's a 2009, but we got it in
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Okay, so I think we've had a good discussion on that, so maybe we'll just have somebody make a motion that we accept this report as information. And I think Director Jenkins, you're supported in a February auction and get the safety certificate done.
I'd so move.
Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry, CEO Becker?
Oh, sorry, I want to interject with I just have something following your vote.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you, unanimous. And
Mayor Barkley, to Director Jenkins, so you are coming back with a formal report with formal direction next?
Yes, there'll be a report on Monday
Okay.
to get that direction.
Okay, great, thank you. And we will move on to the snow clearing strategy with Director Kennedy.
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. Probably good timing to come to council with a bit of an update on the snow clearing. So during the summer here, we actually, administration, along with the three foremen, we looked at the strategy of the snow storage that we have around town. There were currently 6 storage locations located strategically throughout town just to help us with speed and location and everything for the snow dumps. After a discussion with the operations foreman, we did come up with a strategy to improve our best management practices in regards to snow storage and also come in alignment with the Alberta Environment Guidelines for snow clearing or for snow storage. So in 2022-23, this season, winter season, we will be only using 1 snow dump location. This was done as part of the Southwest Industrial Rehab. We built a snow storage facility a couple years ago in preparation of this. It's down at the Civic Yard. This will increase the trucking turnaround, unfortunately. and have an impact on the service level for snow removal. So in the past years, it would take approximately 12 to 14 working days to clear snow. That's on an average snowfall. We are now anticipating that it'll take approximately 2 to 4 additional days using the same number of trucks and manpower. We will not know the full impact until we complete a first cycle of snow removal. So I will plan to come back to you in regards to an update. We're probably another 6 days away from completing a full cycle here. Unfortunately, this first snowfall event, it was a big one, so it's not going to be a great comparison, but at least it'll give us an idea of the impacts. So that's quickly just a brief update on the snow clearing. I'll take any updates or questions on that if you like before I move on to the next.
Councillor Bates.
Yeah, I just have one. I see all the advantages, environment. I assume the reclaim of the sand and rock that you guys have been doing is going to be easier if it's in one place, and traffic out of the cemetery and potential parking. In addition to the analysis of how many days, though, could you also give us an approximate cost when you come back to us? Because it has to have a cost with the additional miles and hours, and we should know what it is, I think. Thank you.
Yep, so we did do a quick, so previously we've done kind of a service level studies, and we've done an idea of what it typically would take based on kind of the industry rates for trucks and manpower. So approximately it's about a $12,000 a day is what we spend when it's full snow removal. So that's, now we don't know, the full impact, but we will come back to you with some more related costs. But that was just a ballpark idea of what it costs us per day to do snow removal. So yeah, it's a little pricey, but.
It's not Buffalo.
So just moving on then, so previously council asked us to look at some parking options for through the cemetery for the existing dog park. We have also took the opportunity to look at the long-term usage of the area now that we are looking to remove those 2 snow storage areas. So as for the plan that we provided, just a real rough idea of some of the ideas that we came out with was a parking area would be suitable. It actually reduces the travel to the park by about half. So going from about 300 meters to about 150 meters to the dog park. We would look at doing a new entrance into the dog park, as well as improve the trail, so add a bit of trail networking into the dog park. We also looked at potential tree planting areas within that area and improve that wildlife or nature in corridor. We looked at expanding possibly the BMX track area and improving that, as well as the large street area. We see an opportunity there to really enhance that nature area. We do have natural trails through there right now, but we do like the idea of being able to enhance that and also maybe even update it into more of an interpretive area. So lots of opportunity for that area in the future. So we did look at that as more of a high level potentials for that whole area. So we did do a high level cost for the parking lot and the trail to the dog park. Just roughly on a high level, it's about an $80,000 cost, and that would be just for a gravel parking lot, but a paved trail down to the dog park there. So if we have any questions, I'll just ask council to accept this as information.
Okay, thank you, Director Kennedy. Councillor Hystad.
Thanks, Your Worship. Actually, I'm going to go to the first piece that Director Kennedy spoke on. I agree with the new routes and how you're going to function those. I think Councillor Bates talked about the environmental piece where it makes sense to have it at our yards. But what from the last snowfall, which would just hit us right over the head, I think for a community and all communities, is the big thing is how we communicate that to our citizens. I think there's an opportunity showcasing that and actually being able to communicate it in a way that they understand the good work that all our workers are doing. And it's a bit of a shift, and it's going to be a couple days more, but it makes sense for us. I really like some of the work that we've done with our drone shots and that. And I think it's really important for the community to see how extensive that work is. It's just not like cleaning up one street. And I think that last snowfall, there was some criticisms that I had heard, but I was fully aware that you can't keep up to it as fast as you think you can. So that's number one. But number two, with the dog park piece, I do see that it would be a benefit to the community. For myself, sitting on Age Friendly, I think this comes up over and over again, is about accessibility to, to facilities and park areas in our community. And I know sitting on Age Friendly, it was one of the comments that has come back to the group is actually a study in how do we make sure that all these things that we're doing in the future are age friendly. So those are my comments today, and thanks, Director Kennedy, for your work.
Director Kennedy, is there any concern, the parking lot up by that end, about, like, would there be a gate, or would the cemetery be closed in the evenings? Like, I have a concern, just with some things that go on at times, that people would take a vehicle down there at nighttime and take it down into the park, or rip around up in there with a vehicle if they have access.
Yeah, I think we'd have to look at definitely security in the area and look at, like, put some more detail into this and how it would work if council is open to this area. It definitely would have to have like some type of barrier fencing or something to keep them in that area, to keep containment, because it is a bit of an isolated area.
And I think that the plan is great, putting another entrance into the dog park at that end, and I would strongly suggest don't have a picnic table at the entrance. Councillor Bates?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think you've outlined that it's half the distance, but it's also almost none of the grade, and it's the grade that I think a lot of people can't get up from the Napoleon. So it makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Yeah, what my colleagues have said, especially about, this town does a really good job about trying to keep those paths cleared, but I know I've been in there in the wintertime after some snowfalls and watched people try and get up that pathway, and having something that was a little bit more at grade would definitely make that accessible aspect all that much better. And, I see, the idea of the natural area and enhancing that and the remediation of the park and tree planting, and I see an opportunity for us to work with maybe some kids groups or the schools or something like to create a program around that. And Councillor Harrison has mentioned a number of times the trees that we have in the area, especially the deciduous, that don't have as long a lifespan as some of the native coniferous, and maybe there's an opportunity for us to look at what plantings could happen around that. So I definitely see it as plus, and yes, it is money, and we have obviously limited budget, but it's something to explore, and I really like what I see. Thank you.
Okay, could I please have somebody make a motion? Oh,
Mayor
I'm
Barkley,
sorry,
sorry
Seal
to
Baker. Yeah.
interject. Just in listening to the director speak, I'd like to suggest to both of you as the management and council, two different motions that are both budgetary. I thought maybe we should go beyond just information, because it is a directive and it has budgetary impacts potentially. What I'd suggest, and certainly looking for the director to acknowledge, first motion to consider, moved by council to approve the snow storage locations and snow removal service level adjustments as presented.
Okay, could I please have somebody make that motion? Councillor Dunham?
Mayor Barkley will make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion, questions? No, all in favor? Okay, unanimous, thank you.
And Mayor Barkley, council, a second directive would be, as we were hearing, that there's interest in this project of a parking lot and a gate, but there's some concern, or perhaps with parking and security. So a little bit of work to do on a scope. What I suggest to council and to the director, to direct administration to complete the design and prepare a project scope for additional dog parking lots. I'm not sure, that doesn't really sound great, but if you're okay, we
Additional
can,
Centennial Park parking lot, right?
yeah, if you're okay, we'll certainly look at it on paper, but you know the gist of it.
Could I please have somebody make that motion? Oh, Councillor Hystad.
No, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion or questions? No? Okay, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Great. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move into correspondence. Councillor Hystad, your hand's up.
Oh, it's up?
It's up.
Okay, I thought I lowered it.
You did.
Okay, I'm good.
No, you're not. It's up.
Oh, I'm up on correspondence.
No, your hand is up.
I thought I lowered it.
You did just now. Thanks.
Okay, that's Kara's technology. I blame Kara. How's that? Sorry, Kara.
I have a question, maybe Councillor Maceras or Director Jenkins with the Transportation Committee. There was a motion in there about contracting the service out. Can you expand on that, please, and what that means exactly?
So that's for the PACE buses. Yeah, so looking at options for how, in the absence of the operating agreement with the Legion, what our options are for running that service, and whether that's something that we'll have to figure out how to internally manage, or if there is an option to utilize an external service. So we actually did issue an RFP for the service to give us an idea of what those costs are. So I'll be evaluating those and coming back to council when we have firmer numbers.
Okay, and then I guess the other thing, Director Jenkins, like the hours of operation that was posted in there, is this different than what it was starting January 1st?
Yes, so again, there'll be an RFD on Monday
Okay.
For council with this recommendation from the Transportation Committee. Currently, the hours of operation are Monday to Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. On Fridays, they go till 8:30. They do Saturdays 9 to 3 and Sundays 9 to 3 right now. So these would be the adjusted hours. So that'll come on Monday.
Okay, well, maybe I should ask the questions Monday, but I'll keep asking now. So is that being adjusted because of the lack of use in those hours, or just we need to kind of rein the service in a little bit right now until we figure things out?
The request was brought forward by the Legion due to low ridership during those times. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, could I please have somebody make a motion to accept the correspondence as information?
Mayor Barkley, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. And we'll move into round table, starting with Councillor Bates today.
Okay, so last week I attended the police town hall. It was certainly much better attended than the previous one, and there was a lot of good dialogue there, even after, if you hung around. Also had MPC and the Mountain View Water Commission, and then I did attend the Restorative Justice dinner as well, and wound the week up with the Christmas tree lighting, which was again very successful by all appearances. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Yes, so last week saw MPC, RCMP Town Hall, as well as the Innisfil Public Library November board meeting. I'd like at this time just to acknowledge the longtime commitment of former town councillor Tracy Walker Kinsella as she steps down from the chair and retires from the library board. She's been involved with them since 2004. It was her first council appointment when she was first elected, so that's yeoman's share of hard work. the library is in a very solid position, so thanks to Tracy. And then also you've met Pauline Wigg, relative newcomer to Innisfail, but very impressive woman and very impressive leader. So I'm excited to continue that work with them. Also attended the Restorative Justice Dinner on November the 16th. And then the next day, on the 17th, I attended the Parkland Regional Library Board meeting, at which time a new board chair was elected, being Councillor Teresa Rilling from Sylvan Lake. So the way the executive at Parkland is set up is the positions are done by region, and the regions, of course, are created just from a population base. So currently, Innisfail sits in a region that includes Sylvan Lake and then the summer villages of Birchcliff, Half Moon Bay, Jarvis Bay, Norglenwold, and Sunbreaker Cove. And the mayor of Jarvis Bay is the only other councillor that's in this region. So with Teresa Rilling from Sylvan Lake stepping into the chair, I've agreed to step onto the executive committee for the year. I think it's a good way to learn a little bit more about the Parkland library system as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And just as a note, the 2023 Parkland budget was approved with 77% of municipalities as of the time of the meeting having indicated their approval, so that was done. Yeah, Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and then the Chamber's new executive director has stepped down for personal reasons. So we're back to the drawing board there. However, we are very hopeful we'll have someone in place by January the 1st. And we will be moving forward with the Business Gala Awards on Wednesday evening. So I look forward to seeing you all there.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Harrison?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I also attended the Police and Safety Committee Town Hall meeting last week, the Christmas tree lighting, and attended the RD MUG, the Red Deer River Municipal Users Group meeting via Zoom last Thursday. And the big two things came out of that. The Red Deer Watershed Alliance has got a new executive director. Her name is Francine Forrest, and she comes with a wealth of experience to that position. And there's a commitment from RD MUG that they start to work a little closer with the alliance. So that's going to be an interesting partnership or a relationship. They talked about their draft budget, and one of their things that they're looking at is up until this year, they've had full-blown audits. And for a group that size and for a budget of that size, that's about a $5,000 expenditure for something that may or may not be needed. And they've inquired through 2 or 3 different accounting firms that just a letter of engagement would be sufficient. And I think that's going to save a lot of money on the budget. So that was the big thing that came out of that. I'm also going to be attending the gala on Thursday evening at with the Chamber. So I think that's it. Thank you, Mayor Barkley.
Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I as well attended the RCMP Town Hall, and I would like to acknowledge all the good work that the Policing and Safety Committee does. I really appreciate the new program initiative that they've got, the See It, Call It. We hear weekly in this community about things that are happening, and then you hear from the RCMP that nothing's being reported. So hopefully this will change that paradigm and allow them to build statistics out of what people are reporting and be able to police better in our community. So congratulations to them on that. I was also at the tree light up, and it was wonderful to be able to sing with my fellow council members and everybody, and also to give Santa a great big hug, and I'm looking forward to the Christmas season, so that was quite wonderful. And I will be attending the Chamber Business Awards, and that's it for me.
Thank you. And Councillor Maceros?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I attended MPC this last week, and I went to the Christmas tree lighting on the 18th, which was exciting and wonderful. And I guess I'll just sort of make an announcement that I'm reducing public engagements for the time being, just so that I can ensure to stay healthy for my upcoming surgery on the 5th. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hystad?
Yeah, thanks to everybody. I was at the Christmas tree lighting. Policing committee was great. I think that the campaign to help out with our police, our local RCMP is going to help us. There's an opportunity as well with the Red Deer County to have some regional partnerships, which has come up at our last policing committee meeting. I also want to recognize I did go on a road trip with Lawrence Gould to look at an old tractor in Hannah for the day. I believe it was on Thursday, potentially having a tractor from the early 1900s come back to the village, and it's in working order actually. Looking forward to the discussion at budget. And you know, the last thing I'm gonna add is I'm gonna recognize Don Harrison for the work that he's done at the Legion. And I was at the Can-Am Wrestling following the Christmas tree event, and it was a lot of fun. So good job, Don. There's tons of kids there and families, young families, and it was great to witness that event on Friday night. Thank you. That's it.
Councillor Bates?
Yeah, at the risk of, so I don't have to reintroduce it after, I forgot my upcoming, I'm definitely going to be at the railway crossing ribbon cutting tomorrow, the chamber recognition and the budget deliberations.
Okay, so I attended the RCMP Town Hall last week, as well as the Restorative Justice Dinner the next evening, which was excellent. Christmas tree lighting, I just want to give a shout out to our town staff. First of all, Ken, to you for Remembrance Day in Penhold and here, for being the trumpet guy, great. And also, to the staff, Kane and Director Jenkins and everybody that was involved on the Christmas tree lighting. It was an excellent night, and lots of people showed up, and everybody had fun. So I know every event that goes on in this community, it touches the town of Innisfail, whether they're the lead on it or not, and it takes a Herculean effort sometimes to get things done. So even getting the Christmas tree, the lights on that takes probably 2 or 3 days, I'm guessing. And I see today they're out hanging Christmas banners at the corner of 50th and 50th there. So thank you so much for all that you do. And yeah, we'll be at the ribbon cutting tomorrow, and chamber gala and budget and who knows what else. So we will move into upcoming events, please. Oh yeah, Cape too. I'll just have somebody make a motion to accept these as information, please.
Mayor Barkley will make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, then a motion to go in camera.
I'll move that we go in camera.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mercedes. All in favor?